Good morning, everyone. So I woke up this morning. I feel like this total solar eclipse that we'll be having this on the 2nd of July is preparing us to work through our fears and work through the pain of acceptance and work through vulnerability, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in order to be bigger, right? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I wanted to talk about Mercury moving into Leo tomorrow. We'll talk about more tomorrow, but I did want to show you guys my Mercury retrograde t-shirt because if you want to get a Fearless Intuition Mercury retrograde t-shirt, before retrograde season happens, before Mercury goes retrograde, I suggest you order them now because it'll take a couple weeks to get to you. So, yeah, anyways, and because I've had a couple of people ask me, like, where are your t-shirts? They're in the merchandise section. You just click on merch on my website and get the drop-down box. I'm not going to talk a lot about the cosmos because there really aren't any exact placements that we haven't already discussed. Uranus and Lilith are still in sextile. We still have Saturn opposite the North Node, and we have Saturn conjunct the South Node. There is just a lot of karmic activity happening with this eclipse that's going on. And as Mercury and Mars move into Leo later this week, there will be a quickening pace of wanting to get things done. But this eclipse is really asking you to focus on your goals and focus on what it is that you really want to do and doing it the right way. Doing it by the book, step by step, not necessarily so it can hold you back, but so you don't have any karmic retributions later on, right? This is also, this total solar eclipse in with the new moon in Cancer is also about who's your crew, you know, who is it that you can trust. And I woke up this morning with just this feeling of a deep knowing of what I'm supposed to be doing, but a fear of doing it. So even I can still have that fear of failure, fear of success, all of the above. It's how you work through it. That's a perfectly natural, normal feeling to have. To be afraid to be successful, to be afraid to fail, are both very normal emotions to have. The one thing that I want you to remember when those fears come up is this is something that I had to remind myself of, and Ryan actually reminded me of it as well. Why are you afraid of something that hasn't happened yet? Why are you afraid of an illusion? Because you can make your future look any way that you want it to. You're actually in more control than you think. Yes, there is destiny. Yes, there is fate. Yes, the universe has a plan for us. We actually wrote our plan before we showed up here. So we are in more control than we think. And having that free will option, we can detour anytime we want to. So what is a detour, though? It always brings you back to where you're supposed to go. It always brings you back to the path of where you're supposed to be on. So you can detour all you want. I kind of feel like it's in my best interest to just stay the path, right? Keep going down that road. I chose to do this. I chose to be this person. And so I'm allowing myself to do that even in the face of fear, because fear is an illusion. So it's part of our ego that keeps us alive, right? We have to have fear so we don't walk into a busy road of traffic, right? A little bit of fear is healthy to have. It's when you're actually paralyzing yourself and stopping your life because you're afraid to move forward or you're afraid of what's going to happen. That's when there's That's when fear can become toxic to you. Speaking of self-alignment, my self-alignment coaching one-on-one sessions are on sale right now. Also, if you want to come visit me and do the events in Kansas City, which is Friday, so 4 days from now, we actually talk about self-alignment and the focus of moving forward and pushing through your fears through this energy, pushing through your fears through this energy. So Kansas City is June 28th. I'll be in St. Louis on July 6th. Chicago is August 3rd. So the 6th and the 3rd are both Saturdays, and it'll be like in the afternoon. So that's kind of, to me, I figure that's a little bit convenient. Plus, I want to be able to actually visit the cities while I'm there too. So St. Louis on the 6th, Chicago's on the 3rd, and then I'll be out, or the 3rd of August, and then I'll be out in LA and San Francisco the weekend of the 23rd and 24th, and Portland, Oregon, August 30th. So, which is my birthday, my 40th birthday. Come celebrate my 40th birthday. Maybe we'll get a cake and stuff. Sorry, I feel like there's a hair in my eye or something like that. All right, guys. Let's see what's going on in the cards today. It's going to be it feels just kind of like one of those days where you just sort of want to get your stuff together. You just sort of want to, ooh. All right. Somebody is going through it big time today. Somebody's really going through it today. So I have the 5 of Pentacles. This is that lack mentality. This is what happens when you let fear get the best of you. So we have the 5 of Pentacles, we have the 9 of Swords, and we have the 5 of Cups. The fear, the regret of what happened in the past, the feeling like you missed out on something. The 5 of Pentacles is a lack mentality. The 9 of Swords is anxiety. There's this anxiousness that is kind of, it feels like it's sitting in somebody's gut. It feels like it's sitting in your gut. And you can't breathe, right? There's a certain sense of not feeling like you're good enough. Why is this thing bothering me so much? Like there's really something in my eye. It's bothering me. There's a sense of feeling like you're not good enough. And it feels like you think you're not good enough because of past mistakes or because of past regrets. Or if you look at the 5 of Cups, she's focused on the things that have spilled. She's not focused on the tray that she's still carrying, right? The fear of being left out. The fear of not being good enough. It's very real right now. And the reason why people ask me, why is it so hard to ascend? Why is it so hard to go through your awakening? The shadow work that we have to do within ourselves is to show us what we're worth. It's to show us that the critical self-talk, the negative self-talk that we have, that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that's the negative self-talk. Hopefully, the volume is better, by the way. I had somebody message me on Instagram, thank you very much, by the way, and let me know that my volume is really low. And so I adjusted it. I thought it was up as high as it could go, but apparently it wasn't. So I adjusted it. So hopefully it's better. Will you please comment and let me know how the volume is, if I need to change it? Maybe eventually I'll just get a microphone. I didn't really want to do that because I know that some people use microphones that are attached to them, and then when they move, it makes really loud, funny noises. So anyway, back to the reading. I just wanted to mention about so when you have that negative self-talk, and this is one of the things that I teach in my alignment session, when you have that negative self-talk and it comes up and you're not entirely sure how to change it in your mind, I want you to ask yourself, would I say something like that to somebody I love? Would I say that to somebody that I love the most? Would I tell my best friend? Would I tell my little sister? Would I tell my mom? Would I tell my little brother? Tell my big brother? Whoever it is, that would I tell my husband, my wife, whatever? Would I say that to them? And if the answer is no, then I want you to stop saying it to yourself. Because that's what this is up here. This telling of yourself that you're not good enough because the past has proven to you that you're not good enough, right? And then on the bottom row, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So it gets better. 9 of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Queen of Cups. Look at this Queen of Cups. She is so sure of herself. I love these cards. I'm using the Steampunk Tarot, by the way. She is so sure of herself because, why is the Queen of Cups sure of herself? Because she listens to her intuition. The Queen of Cups is somebody who is highly, highly intuitive. And she's also very caring and very nurturing. She represents Cancerians, right? That's the Queen of Cups. Now, she can be a little bit shut off, though, when she's not balanced. The 9 of Pentacles and Temperance are trying to tell you here that you are abundant all on your own. All you have to do is learn how to balance out your head and your heart and your emotions, right? So when it gets hard, when you don't know how to balance out your heart, your head and your heart and your emotions, it's time for you to get quiet and start listening to your higher self. It's time for you to allow yourself, give yourself a break. Just give yourself a break. You don't have to be so, you don't have to beat yourself up every single day to keep moving forward. A lot of people think that if they don't push themselves and beat the, if they stop fighting with themselves, then they'll just stop moving forward. Here's the thing though, is a lot of times when you're beating yourself up, that's actually worse on your psyche. That's worse on your body. That's worse on your spiritual side than if you were to say, you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up today. I'm going to lift myself up today. And I'm going to say things like, you really deserve this because you're a good person. Or you've really, really worked hard for this moment in your life. Or, you know what? I just need to push a little bit harder and a little bit more because I know I can do it, because I know I'm strong enough to do it. That's better than telling yourself that you're not good enough. Because when you tell yourself you're not good enough, you're beating up your best friend. You know? All right, so let's look at the 5 of Pentacles. And when you're in a lack mentality, it can paralyze you with the Hanged Man. And it's also time to look at things in a different way when the Hanged Man shows up, because he puts himself there on purpose, upside down, to see things in a different perspective. Maybe it's that you're not really lacking. You're just comparing yourself to somebody else. And comparing yourself to other people, trying to keep up with the Joneses, even though you're going to be like, but Betsy, I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm just trying to keep up with the world or whatever. That's trying to keep up with the Joneses. When you compare yourself to other people, that's a lack mentality state. So you have to take a step back and look at it in a different way and be like, I'm a completely different person than them. I can't keep up with that. I'm a completely different person. And then we have the 5 of Swords. So many 5s. All of that anxiety in your head, all of those things that you're telling yourself. To me, the 5 of Swords is about lying to yourself. All of that self-deprecating stuff that you say inside your mind, about how you're not good enough and you're not this and you're not that and like all the things, that's so self-deprecating and beating yourself up for absolutely no reason. There's simply no reason for it. And that Five of Swords is on the Nine of Swords is very telling. The only reason why you're in a state of anxiety right now is because of what you're saying to yourself. There's absolutely nothing to, it's almost like nobody else has to say it to you anymore. You're your own worst enemy. Let's see what the Five of Cups is. A lot of this may have to do with the fact that you keep thinking about the past, or you want to live in the past, or you can't get away from the past, and you regret the things that you've done, and you regret the things that you've said, and now you don't feel like you can focus, or you can, it's so interesting when you're focusing on the stuff that you don't have, you can't see that Seven of Cups, all the stuff that you do have. You know, when you're so focused on the things that you don't have, you can't see the stuff that you do have right in front of you. You actually have a lot of options. That might be one of the reasons why you're beating yourself up, because you're like, I can't choose. I can't choose. When you're in a state of anxiety like that, of course you can't choose, because you're not allowing yourself to get quiet. What you're doing is when you get quiet, you start beating yourself up and you start saying, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do that. And instead of getting in your own way and constantly tripping yourself up, like I'm literally in my mind picturing this child tripping themselves, like getting all tripped up on their own feet, walking down the sidewalk. It's like that's what you're constantly doing. You can't even take 6 steps forward because you keep tripping yourself. When in reality, you have your abundance right there in front of you. And the reason why you're not seeing it as abundant is because it doesn't look the way that you want it to look. Oh, I know, that was really obnoxious of me, wasn't it? Well, maybe the abundance that you want, the exact abundance that you want, is unhealthy for you. Maybe the kind of abundance that you want, you're not ready for. And when I say that, I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm not trying to say you're not good enough. I'm saying you haven't learned all the lessons in order for you to handle what the universe has for you. In order for you to recognize everything that you deserve and everything that you desire, you have to be on a certain vibration. And if you can't get to that vibration, because the universe knows how you would handle $1 million. If $1 million was put in front of you, the universe knows how you would handle it, whether you were in this vibration or whether you were in a lower vibration. If you're in a high vibration, it would be totally different than a lower vibration. Does that make sense? Right? So the abundance, so you have to recognize, this is what I'm getting at here, guys. You have to recognize and be grateful for where you are right now, because everything that you have been given, whether it's a lot or it's this much, it's teaching you a lesson, and it's showing you how to be grateful for every single step you take in life and every single step that you take on this journey. Sounds a little bit convoluted sometimes, but I guarantee you that as things get bigger and as you are ascending more and your vibration raises even more and you can start manifesting things in a really, really big way, you'll look back at this time and be like, oh, I totally get what Betsy was saying, that my vibration has to be at a certain level before I'm gifted all these things that I really, truly want. So 9 of Pentacles, being abundant all on your own. But you got to walk away from that emotional bullshit that you hold on to so dearly. And some of that emotional bullshit is saying, but I deserve to have it. I've worked so hard. When you get to the point of feeling entitled to have things because you worked so hard, the universe will sit back and be like, oh, really? Really? You worked that hard, huh? It's not about the things. It's not about the things. It's about the vibration. And then as your vibration raises, the vibration of the things raise. Right? But you have to walk away from the holding pattern. You have to walk away from the idea, and this is kind of what Lilith is teaching us as it's sextile to Uranus. She's showing us the shadow side of what all the things can do. The greediness of how, how greedy we can get, or how we really want to keep up with the Joneses, or, when you're in alignment and you're at a vibration of where you're supposed to be, and you can look at all this stuff and you can say, you know what? I don't really need that anyway. It wasn't a necessity in my life. Yes, wanting to have it is one thing. But if I'm not a vibrational match with wanting to have these things, I'll wait my turn. That's humility. And I know that's not a very popular opinion. It's not a very popular technique. It's not a very popular truth either. Some people will see it as an opinion, and some people will see it as truth. I don't really care how people see it. I just know that when I stopped expecting for things to just show up in my life because I was trying to manifest it and that's what I wanted, when I stopped expecting for things to come into my life and I just raised my vibration and I would sit with the fact that the reason why I deserve the best is because I give of myself so freely. And it used to be that I gave of myself in a very martyrdom kind of way, right? Thank you very much, Virgo Sun. Not throwing shade at Virgos, but we all know that we like to be the martyr sometimes. It's the truth. But allowing myself to get balanced and allowing myself to align with what my truth is and saying to myself, you know what? I'm going to give of myself in a very humbly and freeing kind of way. And then I started to manifest from that place, from a place of gratefulness, from a place of humility. And I raised my vibration. And that's when the things started happening. And it gets very overwhelming. But when you're in a balanced state, you can always get back to that balanced state. I won't tell you that I'm in alignment every single day. That would be a really big lie. But once you get into alignment, it's very hard to shift out of it. You just kind of have to go with the flow, roll with the tide, right? So we have the Fool and Temperance. This is about taking risks. As you balance out your heart and your mind and you're patient with the outcome of the risk taking that you have to do, it's so much easier to push forward. It's so much easier to allow yourself to get in the mix of everything and feel good about what you're doing. Then we have the Knight of Wands on the Queen of Cups, which is really cute because I feel like the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies are working together right now. So funny, as we move from Cancer season into Leo season, the King of Wands represents Leo because it is fixed and the kings are fixed. Cardinal, Cancer is cardinal, right? Queens are cardinal. So it feels very much like as we transition from one season into another, there will be a shift in your thoughts. There will be a shift in your thought process, which is what Mercury is going to do for you. Remember that through the self-deprecating talk, through the painful talk that you give yourself, right? The self-critical talking, that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough. Always ask yourself, when that starts to happen, when that conversation in your head starts to happen, we all know it happened. I'm not being crazy when I say that. When that conversation starts to happen, I want you to ask yourself, would I say this to my best friend? Or would I say this to my loved one? Or whoever it is? And if the answer is no, don't say it to yourself. Because there's no reason to beat yourself up for just learning lessons in life and having to go through karmic experiences. There's no reason to beat yourself up for that. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And I'm going to see you guys for the July readings. I'm going to get them started out today. Bye.